We stand at a really unique crossroads in human history. We're conscious of our own consciousness. We're armed with this unprecedented power, and yet we're still burdened by the most ancient of questions, right? What does it mean to exist? Welcome to the XFO Intelligence Podcast. Today, we're not looking for an answer, like it's some destination to be discovered. No. Instead, we're going to explore an architecture, the architecture of meaning. It's a structure that's built in the dynamic tension between our radical freedom to create ourselves and, on the other hand, the unyielding constraints that give our journey its shape. So let's start with the fundamental human condition. Our existence, it's not a predetermined path. It's an ongoing act of self-creation. We are, at our core, beings who are just thrust into a world not of our choosing, but we're also endowed with this profound capacity to choose who we become. This absolute freedom it's our greatest privilege and our heaviest burden. That anxiety we often feel, existential dread, it doesn't actually stem from meaninglessness itself. It comes from the terrifying responsibility of being the authors of our own lives without any external guarantees or, pre-written scripts. Yet this freedom, it operates within a defining frame, our finitude. The very constraints that limit us, our mortality, our biology, our specific historical and cultural context, those are what make our choices significant. Think about it. An eternal being with infinite time could just postpone all projects indefinitely. But we, with our limited years, we understand that every decision carries weight. Every commitment matters, and every moment is infused with potential precisely because it is scarce. Our temporal boundaries don't negate meaning. They generate its urgency and its value. So within this whole dynamic field of freedom and finitude, meaning emerges, but not as a revelation, more as a construction. We build significance through really 4 primary channels. First is through purposeful action, directing our energies toward goals we define for ourselves, projects that extend beyond just the present moment. Second, through authentic connection, forging genuine relationships that acknowledge the freedom and the subjectivity of other people. Third, through creative contribution, leaving something in the world that wouldn't have existed without us. And fourth, through ethical commitment, living according to values we freely chosen and for which we take responsibility. These are not just hobbies or some kind of optional accessories to life. No, they are the fundamental architecture through which a human existence transforms from a biological accident into a coherent narrative. We experience life as an unfolding story, always weaving coherence across the span of our years. And this brings us to our contemporary moment, which, it presents some really unique challenges to this whole existential project. As technology increasingly mediates our experience, questions of authenticity become urgent. How do we maintain a genuine selfhood in simulated or augmented realities? How do we exercise responsible freedom when our individual choices can ripple through these interconnected global systems with completely unpredictable consequences? The digital age has created what you might call an existential scale crisis. Our individual capacity for making meaning now has to contend with these planetary-scale systems and technologies that operate way beyond human temporal scales. The development of artificial intelligence, that presents not just a technical challenge, but an existential one. We are facing a closing window to shape these technologies in ways that amplify rather than undermine human agency and meaning. And these are not abstract concerns. I mean, when our attention becomes a commodity to be harvested, when our social interactions are optimized for engagement instead of depth, when our very reality becomes subject to simulation, the foundations of authentic existence are threatened. The battle for human meaning is being fought right now in the design of our technologies and in the architecture of our information ecosystems. The appropriate response here is not retreat, it's cultivation. It's developing what you might call an existential immune system, both on an individual and a collective level. And that begins with an education that fosters what I'd call existential literacy. The ability to grapple with these huge questions of meaning, purpose, and value without demanding simplistic answers. At a systemic level, we need wise governance. The designers of our digital infrastructures, the architects of our AI systems, they have to recognize they are not merely building tools. They are shaping the very conditions in which human meaning will be forged for generations to come. Ultimately, human existence is a continuous negotiation between the infinite and the finite, between our boundless aspirations and our grounded limitations. The meaning of life, it's not a puzzle to be solved. It's a system to be operated, a project to be built with the materials we have at hand. The future isn't something that just happens to us. It is something we construct through countless daily choices to engage authentically, to act purposefully, to connect deeply, and to stand by our values even when we're facing uncertainty. It's this courageous engagement with our freedom and our finitude that transforms mere existence into genuine meaning. In the end, we are the architects of our own significance. We're building cathedrals of meaning within the beautiful, terrible, and precious constraints of a finite freedom. However human or post-human our future forms may be, the challenge remains the same: to ensure they remain worthy of our highest aspirations, reflecting the dignity of beings who, knowing they are mortal, choose nevertheless to create, to love, and to matter. Now, here's a question I'd like you to think about. As you build your own architecture of meaning, which of your daily choices serves as the strongest foundation stone, and why?